Leads us to our question from Cindy. Is going to buy a house later this year. She's heard us talk about mortgages with junk fees built into the loan, and she's wondering, how can the average person determine what a junk fee is,
Yeah.
and how do you get rid of those?
Yeah. So the best thing to do is get a loan estimate, and we send them out all the time, and we go over every single line item. For example, Chuck's side on title. This is what your title fees are. In our situation, the only fee we have is a processing fee, $9.95. But sometimes there's underwriting fees and there's other fees in there, and you'll be able to see that it's very transparent if you ask for a loan estimate.
And then compare
And
them
that's
one to another. Is
yes,
that what you're saying?
yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
Yeah, when you get to the actual closing, different banks will show those fees in different ways.
Hmm.
Some banks kind of lump them all together. This was our fee. Other banks will itemize out every single little fee, and they'll have like 20 different line items
Yes.
for those things. So it's always good when the lender gets with them and says, "Hey, these are the fees that you're going to be looking at," and then they get to me and they don't get that deer in the headlight stare with, what are these millions of fees here?
Yeah, yeah, and that is good to know. And actually, it's a great question, Cindy, with
Well,
regard
that's the importance of having a good team, right? Having
Yeah.
a good lender like Randy, a good closing attorney like Chuck, because they're going to explain all this before you get to Chuck. Because a lot of times you'll go to the closing table and the lender may not be there. It's not necessarily important for them to be there unless there are questions. And if there are questions and Chuck's there,
Right.
Chuck's not going to answer necessarily for the bank. He's going to do his best to explain them, but you need to have that explained with your lender before you get there. So
That's well said.
If you'd like to see some of our past shows and information, we've got a lot of information out there on the web. Interesting videos about real estate. Go to LouisvilleHomesVideo.com. That's LouisvilleHomeVideo.com.